Alrighty, we are now live with Chris, Kami, and Havi for session 2. You guys want to say hi?
Hello. That's our cue. Whoops.
Yeah.
Hello, Internet.
Hello.
There we go. There. Ooh, tough crowd. Okay.
We're new to the internet.
Yeah.
It's a new thing.
Welcome to Chronicles of the Cloudsea, session 2. First of all, we're going to quickly recap some important things that happened last session, if y'all forgot. So first of all, you all arrived to Windswept Port Town of your own machinations, in your own way, for the Windswept Centennial. When you arrived, you all ended up on Market Street and eventually into the tavern where an Elder Benson came through waving a tablet, and you discovered that Norren, the wood elf played by Kami, has a similar tablet with infernal runes, the numbers 1 to 9 and then 0, and that artifact could call Benson's artifact. What the hell? So anyways, from there, you guys followed Benson to the armory, where you witnessed a predatory animal kill a sparrow. Nobody's ever seen something like that happen in this Garden in Eden-like civilization. From there, everybody was waiting for daybreak, and it didn't come. Instead, a zeppelin came out from under the clouds, firing harpoons at various buildings where undercarriages detached from the zeppelin and unloaded monsters onto the town. From there, you commenced a battle, and at the end of battle, a giant serpent downed the zeppelin that was responsible for the attack. And oh, one more thing. You were helped in the battle by a unnamed Aarakocra monk. And that is where we are continuing. I feel like I'm reading the Bible right now. After you guys witnessed what you did, the serpent attacking the Zeppelin, the Aarakocra warrior flies back down, and he's going to speak to you. How fare thee, warriors?
So this is the Aarakocra monk who we just fought alongside, huh?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really know how things are. It's a bit chaotic right now, but thanks for the help at least anyway, Mr.
Ah, yes. The Aarakocra ruffles his feathers. My name is Urus. I am a acolyte of Sije the Owl.
Caitlin McCready, local, I guess, Wolf above, do you have any idea what's going on around here? Well,
I have some idea. He looks over to you, Norren, and Sije. And who may the two of you be?
Catching my breath. What was your name again? I missed that.
My name is Urus.
Urus. Where did you come from?
I come from the Horns, where I am an acolyte of Sije the Owl. Where do you hail from? He looks you up and down. Wood elf?
I come from deep in the woods, traveling a very long time. I come to this land via some invitation that we all seem to have gathered here and has led us to this place right here. I'm quite unsure what's happening at the present moment.
He looks over at you, Sije. I've no idea what you are.
He's a neighbor of mine, right? Because he's from the Horns.
Yep, but they're kind of an insular race, just for reference. So you don't see, you see them occasionally, but not very often.
Oh, I'm Sije. I'm kind of your neighbor, since you say you're from the Horns.
Ah, you're from the Always Dark, then.
Yes.
Urus nods, and then he looks over at the snake, or giant serpent, which, just to remind you, the proportions of this thing, it is big enough that it downed the giant zeppelin that had 3 of these undercarriages that shot out.
This is a full-on kaiju.
Yeah, it's very big. The thing is just looking menacingly, and its tongue kind of flits out of its, heavily fanged maw.
Mr. Urus, do you have any idea what that thing is?
He nods and stamps his feet, and without explanation, he screeches at the top of his lungs. You've never heard a screech like this, because none of you are familiar with eagles, but basically it's an extremely high-pitched screech, which... Actually, you know what? Let's have you all do Constitution saving throws. So throw a d20. Sije, you clutch your ear holes. In a moment of visceral pain, you can't think clearly, And Norren, the same happens to you, except instead of ear holes, you clutch your ears. Caitlin, you wince, and you actually manage to fight through the high-pitched shriek without being too distracted at what's going on. But with the screech, Oris, he catches his breath, and he tosses the three of you a potion each. And he explains, "This is Strigan the Owl's blessing. Drink it, and you shall be rejuvenated."
What do you mean his blessing?
He squawks, "Well, I'm one of the acolytes of Strigan, so I carry his blessings."
This isn't his pee, is it?
He squawks in a manner that kind of gives you a feeling of chuckling, but it's more chicken-like almost. No, it's nothing like that. It's, you might say it's something like holy water.
Right. Oh, thank you for that explanation then. And, I guess I uncork it and drink it down?
So you drink it, and you immediately feel as if you just woke up from sleep. You take a look at your scratches, and you notice they're knitting over, weaving the skin back together, and not a scar remains.
Sounds
So-
good, isn't it?
So Caitlin, drinking the potion, you feel as if you took a long day's rest.
Okay, awesome.
I look over and watches the wounds seem to heal themselves, and kind of just perplexed by this. And then, after a moment of not even thinking, uncorks it and takes a sip myself.
You find that you are fully refreshed and rejuvenated. You don't even feel like you just had a battle. Then Sije,
I'm just gonna throw the whole thing in my mouth and crunch it.
including the vial.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys watch as Sije demolishes this glass vial, crunching it and swallowing it, but you notice the signs of weariness evaporate off of your construct companion. Now that you guys are feeling all better, actually roll perception, all of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that another D20?
That is a D20 plus your perception modifier. So Sije and Norren, you guys notice something out of the corner of your eye coming from the east. Something in the peripheral of your vision. It's skybound, I will add. What do you do?
I quickly turn to look up in the sky, being very nervous about what just happened, curious to see if anything more unfolds, if anything else comes from this, and ask if anybody else sees the same.
So you all look, and your eyes resolve the image of a giant bird flapping towards you. And it flaps closer and closer, and you see two circular eyes taking up the bulk of the creature's head.
Turning to Urus, I ask, is this a friend of yours?
He nods. It's Strigan, come to deal with this pest. So does anybody have religion trained?
I do.
I do. Wait, do I? Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's have you two will roll for religion.
Oh, jeez. I suck. I didn't brush up on my religion course, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, Sije, you recognize that it's Strigan the Owl, but you don't have any insight at all. Okay, so Norren, you recall that the deities of the Cloudsea all have their respective roles, and Strigan's job is to patrol the Cloudsea for evil during the 10 days of dark. That's his primary purpose on the Cloudsea. From that, you gather that Oris has called him for that reason. With that in mind, the giant owl flaps closer. It straightens out its wings, hurling them back into a dive. You realize it's on a clear trajectory to swoop down and attack the giant serpent. So the creature lets out a massive hoot that reverberates through everything. It doesn't hurt your ears like Oris's cry, but you do notice the windows shaking on and rattling on the buildings. You even hear the boards rattling in between the door frame. And the creature dives down, and as it does so, the serpent descends under the clouds and disappears. And with that, the serpent is gone. Do you guys have any comments after what you just saw?
Okay, this day has really gotten away from itself, I think. I don't know about the rest of you, but I probably need to go home soon.
Just as soon as you say that, you hear a rustling in the building behind you guys, the armory that you were just battling outside of. And you realize the capsule that emerged from the ship is still hanging in the side of the building. And you remember the burning creatures that came out, the burning humanoid creatures that came out, and you wonder if perhaps there's something else in there.
Okay, I bring up my shovel once again.
Does anybody want to open the door?
Yeah, I'm gonna take point and open it.
Okay, so Sije, you start to walk out towards the door. You're 10 paces away, and before you reach the door, you hear a loud thud against the door. The whole thing jolts, dust falling to the ground in between the seams of the door, and the door flings open on a second thud. Out comes a creature, one of the creatures you battled before. If you remember the larger creature that Oris pretty much soloed, but I think Norren perforated it through the skull. One of those things comes flying out of the door with a bunch of bolts sticking out of its chest. Following it, this guy, who Caitlin recognizes as her childhood friend Virgil. Sije and Norren, you see a dark-skinned young man with medium-length dreadlocks holding a crossbow, and he's just smiling.
Virgil, you're all right. And you pretty much made a pincushion out of this one here, didn't you?
Why, yes, but you should see what the bloke inside did. Behind Virgil, a second creature seems to be getting the jump on him, but he spins around, shoots 2 more crossbow bolts, takes a step back, and the creature stumbles forward, still alive. Actually, let's say this one's large. He's still alive.
Oh, so I go to grab my bow to get aim and I take a shot at this creature that seems to be coming towards him.
Yeah, you take a shot, it nails him in the eye. We'll just say it's a success. But as you hit him, a gush of blood comes out of his chest as you see a section of his chest opens and a blade emerges from the other side, glowing teal. The creature falls down. A hobgoblin covered in heavy armor basically curb stomps him on the head. He is dead. The creature, that is. Well met. How fared you against these monsters, adventurers?
They're just gonna hold out us. Oh wait, go for it.
I mean, I think we fared all right, but about as well as you did, I suppose, mister.
He shakes off his sword and blood drips off as he sheaths it. Well, this was quite the centennial, I must say. He looks around the battlefield. Looks like none of those creatures are still alive out here. Sije, you wanted to say something earlier. Do you want to continue that train of thought?
Oh god. Oh. Sije is going to look around and say, by any chance, wasn't there another capsule that landed?
Or I will ask if Kate and Norren want to respond to that.
Unsure of the crates. Responding to our new friend that walked up, I said, yes, we made sure of that. Between all of us, between his brute strength, my arrow, that I turn to Caitlin and kind of make a suspicious eye, and between some of our powers, we made sure nothing's left alive.
Yeah, like, Caitlin doesn't really know how to respond to that.
And what of the capsule you speak of? There was another one? And you guys recall that another capsule did indeed hit the windmill, and another one was heading towards the shipyard over here, but you noticed the cables had snapped when the snake attacked the Zeppelin. As you guys are discussing this, you hear a rumbling off in the distance in the south, roughly the same area where the Zeppelin and the snake emerge from under the clouds. As you look out, you see that the patrolling owl is now flying away. From under the clouds, you see a familiar red-orange glow, and it gets brighter gradually until it is pierced, this time by a large airship. Well, it has a very peculiar design. It looks like a warship. Even though you guys don't have war on the Cloudsea, you recognize what cannons are, and it is it is massive. Not as big as the goblinoid airship, which I will remind you is off in the distance as well, but fairly close to the island. So this thing pierces the clouds and hovers about 300 meters from the coast from where you guys are. And then you see a second red-orange source of light coming from underneath the clouds. Another airship pops out. Very similar.
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What are they here to do?
As you are overcome with panic, you see 3 more red-orange glows, and 3 actually smaller ships this time pierce the clouds. Like a more familiar airship for you guys, but they are much smaller. You recognize them as kind of like schooners or brigantines. The second ship you saw pierce the clouds. So the first 2 ships are of similar size. The second one doesn't actually have very many cannons, but you do see a bunch of very small ships disembarking off of it. And those smaller ships are kind of skiff-sized, more than a dozen of these ships, and they are now headed towards Windswept Port. Does anybody have any thoughts at this point in time?
I tune to Urus and say, your friend seems to be the only one who has been helping us fight these things all along. Do you have any insight to what this may be, where these are coming from?
Urus clears his throat. Well, it has something to do with the wolf's dreams this cycle. He looks up at the moon, which is still a new moon. As a matter of fact, the Centennial should have concluded by now, and day should have broken. But the fact that it has now been over 10 days has allowed these creatures of sorts to attack our peaceful Cloudsea. But from where they come, I know not. So you guys see some of the smaller skiffs fly over the point where you guys are at. Actually, Norren, you hear some shouts from one of the skiffs coming from the passengers on board, or from the crew. There's something about the language they're speaking that sounds familiar, but it's a little bit different than what you're used to. But you recognize it as being similar to one of the languages you speak, and that language is Orin. But I don't know, it just sounds a little bit more fiery than Orin. And you are gonna roll a intelligence check. Twice, actually. Roll it twice and take the better roll, basically. Ugh. You know, it sounds familiar. It kind of sounds like Orin, but you can't quite make what they're saying. And you just can't click the pieces together. But regardless, the skiff flies beyond the armory and it slows down over the beach over here. Just to remind you all, this is where the number 1 section of the groups that had the envelopes went to. Norren, your friend Audie went there, who all of you know, and also the dark elf Alisaria, who only Norren met. You also noticed her over there. But as you guys look over there, you also see Elder Benson. You watch what's unfolding. A couple flying creatures disembark from the skiff. Then you see another skiff flying over, and a bunch of other creatures jump off into the water. Back to the first skiff, there are now ropes descending from the side of it. Creatures are disembarking onto the beach. With that in mind, what do you guys want to do?
I turn to our friends and say, there's too much happening right now to understand what's going on. We can sit and figure it out, but there's people over there we need to help.
Look, we gotta get out of here. We gotta help some people. I need to get my family home back to the farm.
Kate, as you say this, you notice skiffs are dropping off creatures throughout the streets beyond the beach. You suddenly feel a sense of despair about what might possibly happen if you don't hurry.
I start running.
I start running after, and I remember Benson with the other clue, so I look at my glyph and I try to just get a hold of this person one more time to see if we can find more information as we're running over there.
Sorry, your artifact, it starts shaking and vibrating, and it lets out a hum, and it just keeps shaking and vibrating and humming as you run. Bow in one hand, artifact in the other. Sije, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna ask. I'm asking everyone. Are we going to go for Caitlin's family, or are we gonna help out the fight that's happening right now?
I'm going after my family, and there is nothing that's going to stop me or change my mind.
I'm gonna grab Caitlin, and I'm gonna speak the command word for my wings of flying.
Okay.
So I don't know if I have to roll to pick them up, or I don't know.
I will say you'll have to do a athletics check.
I really hope this goes well, because this is gonna be really bad if it doesn't. This future reference, this sounded a lot better in my
Also, for clarification, is Audie with Caitlin's family, or are they in separate areas?
They're in separate areas. So down, just to reiterate, down by the beach here is Alisaria, Adi, and Benson. A few other, I'll say they're commoners of human origin, and lots of creatures. There are lots of creatures disembarking from the skiffs.
Oh, so I got a 16 plus 4, so 20.
And I'll also reiterate, there were also flying creatures disembarking from the ships as well. First, you'll have to announce your intentions. Kate will have to be willing to be grappled. Otherwise, there will be a counter check.
I'm just going to run right behind Caitlin, shouting the command word from my wings, and then say, let's get you to your family, and hopefully just take off.
I'll say you shouting that slows me down enough that if you grab me, I'm willing to let the story go where it will.
You succeed then. You grab Caitlin, start to fly in the air. You're heading towards the shipyard, and Norren, I will say you're following behind. So you find yourself flying above the beach, which is loaded with these guys. You're gonna all have to roll for initiative.
Okay, so as we're going in the direction of the town, we just all of this going on?
Yep.
Okay, fun. All right.
Or no, for you.
That is a nat 1 for Caitlin.
Sorry.
I have no initiative modifier.
Yeah, sorry for.
Guess who's going last?
Here, we'll put Norren over here.
These online rollers are so cool.
And I'm sorry, guys, but the enemies rolled very well. All of them rolled well.
Oh, damn.
Let me just paint the picture here real quick. Sije and Caitlin, as you fly towards the beach, making a general trajectory to go over the shipyard, you ascend. We'll say right now you're about 30 feet above the air. Norren, you're following right behind. You're quick, so you're keeping up a good pace with them, but they're a little bit faster in the air. And to the left of you guys, as you approach the beach, you see these amphibious creatures. 5 of them hop out of the water and start ganging on 2 commoners, one in a rowboat and one a few yards away. And you see a couple more in the shallow and deeper part of the water. Beyond that, you see Adi and Alisaria both dueling a fiendish-looking creature with a long beard with chains hanging on the end of it. And that creature also has horns. Beyond that, actually, Norren, make 2 more intelligence checks, please. You will take the 19. You recognize the creatures to the left of Alisaria and Adi, and they are from the Plane of Fire. These creatures are about dwarven-sized, have bronze skin. They have flaming beard and hair, and flaming weapons as well, and they are coated in an aura of heat that you recall if you were to attack them up close, you will burn a little bit. You'll take some burning damage, basically. But the creatures are called Azur, and the language they speak, the reason why you almost recognized it is because it's similar to Orin. It is the Ignan language. So you see a bunch of those around the area of in front of the shipyards. 2 of them are fighting. They are the 2 Cloudforged that Sije and Norren saw on the pier. And up on the shipyard's platform, there are also 2 more Azur fighting a commoner each. In between all this, you see Benson, and there are 2 winged, fiendish-looking creatures coated in spiny thorns, and they are flying above Benson about 50 feet in the air. In one hand, they have forked tridents, and in the other hand, they have large nets. We are going to go into battle and see what happens. Just to give a heads up for how this is going to go, I'm going to streamline most of this and have some of these other groups go in unison, so we don't go through each monster individually. But the monsters you're closest to will take turns. I'm just going to let you know for battle sense, because that might affect what you guys are going to do. So the monsters are going to go first. First of all, the amphibious creatures on the beach. One of them is going to grab at this villager, and the other is going to attack him with a bite, and it succeeds. The villager goes unconscious.
Dead or unconscious?
Unconscious. This second creature is going to walk roughly over here, and he takes notice of you, Sije. He's holding a javelin and is going to, or sorry, a spear, and he is going to throw it at you. And that is going to be a miss. So the javelin just whizzes past you, just skimming past your ear, but it keeps flying into the distance. That is that creature's turn. These two, they're going to do the same thing. One of them grapples this villager while the other takes a bite. And it's going to be a hit. And that villager also goes unconscious. These creatures that are closest to the beach, one of them darts out of the water, flies through the air and lands all the way out over there. The second one does the same thing. Sije, they all notice you. These two, that is. And they are both going to throw spears at you. And one of them hits. The second flies by, but it just barely misses. So for the first one, you are going to take... Oh. This is as bad as it could have gotten. I'm sorry.
I'm dead.
You are not dead, but it does 9 points of damage.
You're using the wrong
Yeah,
dice.
I'm the negatives.
So unfortunately, flying above a battlefield, you caught the attention of these guys who have ranged weapons. And sorry, you were at full health before battle, so you're not in negatives.
Oh, okay.
You're at 2. But
You said 9, right? Yeah.
yeah, but you will have to succeed in a check. We'll say it's another athletics check.
Okay.
Just because you took a hit.
14.
14. I'll say you're still holding on to Caitlin, but she starts to slip from your grasp. The attack took you off balance, so she's now hanging from one of your arms, and you guys are clutching onto each other's wrists.
I am yelling and kicking frantically in the air.
Next, it's going to be everybody else's turn, unfortunately. Sige's turn is coming up. First of all, you guys see Alisaria. Actually, let's say, Caitlin, as you're hanging out of the air by one hand, kicking and screaming, you see a dark elf who you've never seen a dark elf before. It's a lot to take in when you're flying 30 feet above the ground. But this lady is partially garbed in heavy mail, and she has a long katana, which you're familiar from one of your brother's books. She has a katana, and she takes a swing at the fiend in front of her, who at the same time whips his chained beard around the top of the katana, and she's going to actually slice through the beard, make a hit for a decent amount of damage. Then, Norren, as you're scanning for targets, you see Audi in the distance fighting a similar bearded demon with chains around its beard. They both attack one another. Oof. The bearded fiend shakes his head back, whirls the chains hanging on the end of its beard around, slashing Audi against the chest. And it breaks through the armor and does a decent amount of damage. Then off in the distance, actually we'll let Sije go, just because I'm going to throw you guys a bone, because that's a lot of enemy attacks before you guys get one. So Sije, what are you going to do?
I'm going to lower to the ground.
We'll say that is your movement. Are you going to land or just lower Caitlin?
I'm going to land.
So you land, and you still have, basically you descended 30 feet, so you still have half your movement and an action if you would like to attack.
I'm going to heal myself.
Okay, that's probably a wise decision. You're going to use your lay hands?
Yeah, I'm just going to do 5. Awesome, cool. I'm at 7 now.
Cool. Then you can still move 15 feet.
Shoot.
Just some things to keep in mind. You still do have the most AC out of anybody in the party, but you're no longer the highest hit point person. And you're also the only person who's taken damage.
It's just that, like, I can't exactly block any incoming damage. That's the thing.
It might be wise for you to maybe take cover behind one of the others.
How much movement do I have left?
15 feet still.
Who has, like, the least AC?
I think Caitlin does.
God damn, like, I really can't be a wall in this situation. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're only level 1 and they're both level 2. So that's
Yeah,
something to
but
keep
it's
in
all-
mind.
Yeah, but it's like no matter which way I stand, they still have a clear target.
So,
They still have a clear line of sight. So
I'm about to do something that's gonna make me the biggest target in this battle, and that is a good thing. I want you to know.
God damn.
Basically, it's do you want to move behind, do you want to move in between them, behind them, or in front of them? Those are your movement options.
Okay, so now that you told me that you're gonna be a big target, I'm wondering if I should just be here.
It's up to you.
What do you guys think?
I say we just form a line and stick together.
You shout to your companions, "Where should I go now?"
I shout back, stand with us. Let's form a line.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you
So I
want
don't
to...
think even moving like over here is gonna be flanking. That's the thing. So
Yeah, I mean, you could always wait for one of them to get between you guys and just position yourself for the future as well.
yeah, I'll just stay.
So that's your turn. You see the Azur fighting two Clownforged, Sije and Norren. You recognize these as the Clownforge here is the one that was frying fish out of its belly. And the Azur takes a step forward, and the thing disconnects the cauldron from the chamber in its belly and tosses the oil out at the Azur, and a big burst of flame explodes above the Azur, and he follows through, clutching the cauldron with one hand and crunches it into the side of that Azur's face, literally crushing it. And that Azur dies rather quickly. The other Cloudforged you recognize as Sije, as the one that had the sanddial. He is still holding that giant sanddial, and he bunks it over the top of the Azur in front of him.
Yeah.
There's a burst of flame, and the sanddial explodes in his hands. He's stunned momentarily. The Azur takes the opportunity to attack with a follow-through, succeeds, cleaving the Warforged across the chest, the Cloudforged across the chest with a great axe, and that Cloudforged is now unconscious. You guys see the Azur up above take 2 steps towards the commoners on the edge of the shipyard. The flying creatures, one of them throws a net down over Benson, and
Didn't see that coming.
and it misses, luckily for him. The second flying demon, or flying creature, it's not a demon, FYI, I just keep calling it that. The second
Demon, not demon.
Yeah, the second flying creature flies down and tries to grab onto Benson. It succeeds. It rolls its arms underneath his armpits and starts to flap off into the air. So it is now holding Benson and flies 30 feet into the air. And now it is Norren's turn.
I walk up to the two that are sitting there. I look at the situation. I see Benson getting taken. I see Audie up there, and I'm just thinking in my head, just please hold on until we can get there. I turn to face Caitlin. I say, whatever you were doing earlier, it's time to do it again. And I pull my longbow out and aim towards the people that are throwing javelins at us.
This one here was the first one to attack Sije, and then the other two, I will say the farthest one and the closest one you can get a clear line of sight on. Actually, if you move, you can get a line of sight on any of them. But just to also remind you, you picked up a spell.
My next thing was also going to be turn to Havi and offer a good berry, or use a good berry spell.
Yep, you can do that. So you can generate 10 good berries.
I wasn't sure if I could do two, like an attack and that on the same move or not.
Looks like it is going to be an action. So if you do that, you will not be able to attack.
How close is he to death?
He's not close to death anymore. He has not a huge pool, but a decent pool.
I turn to Havi to say, hang on, my friend, we'll get to you. We got to get through these guys first. And then I turn back to the people throwing javelins and aim.
Just to remind you, maybe to check your other spell.
Oh, the Hunter's Mark. Right. Okay.
There you go. So that spell, if you use it, you can use it as a bonus action.
Can I do that first, or do it since it's bonus action?
Yep, you can use it first.
Go to use Hunter's Mark.
Alrighty, so you focus on one of the amphibious creatures.
Which ones are throwing javelins at us?
The closest one to you, and these two.
Okay, I aim to the closest one to us, just to give us a little bit of breathing room.
Okay, well, so that one you are going to focus on. When you do your attack roll, you are going to add...
Yeah, I think it's like a D4 damage for hitting the marked ones.
It's actually a D6 for damage.
Oh, shit.
So if you want to do a longbow attack, roll D20 plus 8.
So I'm sticking with what luck seems to be paying out. Oh my god.
Oof. Roll again.
Let's go.
Yeah, so unfortunately it wasn't an advantage roll, it's just a roll to see if you killed yourself. Which you did not.
I'll take it. Mental health wins the day.
You draw back, and you are so focused on this thing, you don't even realize that your arrow is not even drawn to bowstring. And you let go, and the arrow drops to the ground beside you.
I mean, that's pretty like me.
You are so focused. Kate, it is now your turn.
Okay, as this is going on, I'm just looking around, just wide-eyed at all the chaos, like just fully shell-shocked, more or less, at this sudden battle that's going on in my town. And I just feel something come over me. Like, all the panic and all the fear just gives way to sudden anger and rage that all of this is going on. And I just bare my teeth. All of you hear a snarl begin to rise up in the pit of my throat as I fall to the ground on all fours, and with a sudden guttural howl, my form lights up and I shapeshift into a massive direwolf, the size of a horse. So, I am going to move Void over to the nearest enemy, and I'm gonna make an attack roll.
Okay, do it up.
Also, you can resize my token. I am technically now a large-sized creature.
Oh, sweet.
So there we go. Yeah, I'm that big now, and I am a full-on wolf, and I kind of resemble my previous form in that you've never seen a wolf with red fur before, but yeah, that's what this wolf seems to have, as well as a white underbelly and jaw. So I'm gonna make an attack to bite. So
I'm just thinking of Elden Ring.
So that is a 9 to hit.
Sorry, and that was a miss.
Nuts. So
go ahead.
Savagely barking, I race towards this thing and try to bite it, but what happens to make me miss?
The creature, being unarmed after throwing its javelin, it is a little bit more nimble now, now that it's freed of its arms, and it just sidesteps your lunge and slips between your attacks as you do so.
Okay, hackles are fully bared. I am growling and snarling, saliva dripping down my fangs, as I am slowly prowling around this thing.
Now it is the creature's turns.
And also, I'm going to roll to determine how many hit points I have. I'm going to roll 5d10 and add 10 to the result.
You could still move if you want to, but you will take an attack of opportunity if you do so.
Yeah, if you could maneuver me down over to here, so I'm right between those two enemies. That way I'm trying to give an additional target as opposed to, like, just the, civilian who this monster is attacking right now.
Okay. You sidestep around the creature you are attacking. It does not attack you, as you do not leave its aura. But it is now the turn of the creatures. Sorry, does your AC change in this form?
All of my physical stats change, so I have an AC of 14.
The one you just attacked is going to claw at you with its, despite being an amphibian, it does have sharp talons on its claws, and it is going to lunge at you to attempt to scratch you. And it misses. It's a little shaken up by your startling change, but the second creature now turns around and it is still holding its spear. So it takes its focus off of the commoner it was holding, who is now unconscious, and it is going to attempt to stab you with its spear. And it pokes at you, but you just nimbly sidestep it. The third one is going to do the same with its spear. That one hits. And it is gonna do... Man, these guys are getting good spear hits in.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's 2 max spear throws in a row.
And who is this against?
Against you, Kate.
Fun. Okay.
Who?
The other two, this one is going to join its friends, and it is going to attempt to attack you with its... it's actually going to attempt to bite at you, and you kind of feel the steam coming off its breath as it snaps at you, its jaws clapping together, sharp teeth inside. Despite it being frog or salamander-like, it has ferocious teeth, but it misses. The other one waddles towards you, but he doesn't quite make it.
Okay.
They can't move very much. This one over here moves towards you, and it does make it, but it misses. It snaps at you again, steam coming off of its breath, snorting in frustration. This one is going to dash towards you, towards the back of you, rather. And these two in the water burst out of the water, and they both go... They don't notice you because they were in the water when you change, but they go straight for this commoner, attacking the unconscious dude with their spears as they jump out of the water. Wow, one of them misses. He's just too excited. He can't hit a prone target. But the second one hits. That commoner is dead. Okay. Let's say, we'll let Sije go next, just to split up the monsters' turns a little bit. So, Sije, what do you do?
I turn to look over at Sije. We gotta help her. She's completely surrounded at this point.
Yeah, and you do have that halberd to remind you.
Yeah.
Sije.
Yeah.
So, if you attack from the opposite side of any of the monsters, like, basically, if I'm on the other side of whatever it is you attack, you will have advantage on your attack roll.
Yeah.
You'll get a flanking bonus.
Can I reach it though? I don't know.
Which one did you want to go for?
Yeah, I won't be able to go on other than this one right here. That's the only one that I'll be able to reach.
You have 30 movement.
Yeah.
If you attack this one, you're still flanking because Caitlyn's on the other side.
Yeah, I'll go there.
So
yeah, I'm gonna hit him.
Okay, so roll 2 attack rolls.
Okay.
I look over to him and say, don't forget to actually use your weapon this time. Or not this time, but unlike me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, there we go. That's a hit. So
Let's go.
roll for damage.
Hey, yo.
Oh, nice. You pull back your halberd and lunge towards the amphibious creature as you run through the sand, plant your heels, and thrust the halberd right through the back of the creature, dealing a massive amount of damage, but the creature slides off of the halberd tip, although it looks super woozy. The creatures that were fighting Alisaria and Audi. You look at the bearded fiend fighting Alisaria. It reels back, pulls a glaive from off of its back, a very long spear-like weapon, and it takes a slash at Alisaria. He slashes forward and falls in the sand, missing her completely as she sidesteps and attacks back, but the tripping motion was so sudden that she swipes right over his head, grazing his hair. Meanwhile, the one fighting Audi attempts to do the same, lunging at her with a glaive and misses, where she tries to counterattack, succeeding, and she hacks at him she bashes him with her mace. She does a pretty heavy blow, and the creature nevertheless still stands. Norren, it is now your turn.
I look around and I'm feeling this senses of panic, but just trying to remember, just trying to center myself and take the grasp of the moment. I look over and I see the battle behind, and I see Audi still struggling over there, and just concerning and feeling this hurry to just tear through these enemies as quickly as I can, but being completely frustrated by how poorly it's going. And yeah. I once again turn, and as desperately as I want to help my companion Audi, I look and I need to help the friends now, because if we don't stick together, that this is just all going to fall apart. And so I once again, desperately hoping that this time luck is on my side again, grab for another arrow. I pull it to the one closest to Caitlyn, and I once again begin to draw.
Do 2 attack rolls again. So that is a hit. So you're going to roll for damage. Okay, this time you were so embarrassed by your previous attack, you pull back the arrow and you let loose in a fluid motion. The arrow, flying through the short distance between you and the creature, lands in the back of its skull, and the creature flops over dead. Do you want to do anything else this turn? You can still move.
I look over at Havi and I say maybe we should just jump on either side of this and flank them on either side. And without even thinking, I go to move to the side to begin to flank. I run over to the other side of the enemies, and I look around, and I look over the shoulder of the enemy, and I just see this snarling wolf, and I just think in my mind, I'm like, we can do this together. Even if you're there, not mentally, but I just preparing myself to help take on either side of this enemy.
As you run up behind the creature, you kind of toss some sand to distract it a little bit, and it looks over its shoulder at you. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, this Azure goes to attack the Cloudforge with the cauldron, and it pulls out its massive flaming great axe and misses. However, the Cloudforge makes an attack back, which also misses. And these two Azure, which were attacking commoners up there, whew, one of them got a critical success, the other one got a critical failure. So this one got the...
Perfectly balanced.
Yeah, this one got the failure. He pulls out a burning mace and swings at the commoner. Falls forward, bashing the mace against the ground, tripping on his feet, and the mace recoils, hitting him in the head for hopefully a decent amount of damage. And the second Azure, meanwhile, attacks with his mace. It's not looking good for that commoner. He attacks that commoner, swinging with his mace. It impacts the commoner in the chest. You hear a large thud even from where you guys are, and a burst of flame as the commoner is flung back against the wall, unconscious. Meanwhile, Benson and this flying fiend fly ever higher and are removed from the battlefield. You see them fly up. The creature is approaching one of the skiffs and boards as that skiff flies away. Meanwhile, this creature over here is going to try to attack the Cloudforge with its net. Succeeding! It's such a large net, it wraps around this hulking creature, and the flying fiend attempts to flap its wings, but the Cloudforge is so heavy that he cannot. It is now Kate's turn.
So I am surrounded on all sides, but I'm just in a bloodlust-fueled frenzy, and I am going to attack the one at the top left. Or actually, no, I'm going to attack this one over here that's between me and Norren. And I'm going to roll to hit. Okay, that is an 18 for both of those, so I'm assuming that's a hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. And that's a 15 damage.
This is a bite attack, so you lunge forward at the creature, clamping down on its rubbery skin. You squeeze tighter and tighter, and an instinct to lock your jaws overpowers you as you shake this thing violently. Actually, let's do some flavor for this. Let's do an athletics check on top of that.
Ooh, okay. So let's
exciting.
see what happens. Let's see. I have a strength of 17 in this form, so I'm gonna roll the d20 and add 3.
Come on, Caitlin, let's shot
That's a 9.
As you're shaking, your paws are kicking back from behind you. You actually feel the pads of your feet lightly brushing the amphibious creatures behind you, but their luck, nothing else happens. But the creature in your mouth goes limp as you taste the blood across your tongue. It is dead in your mouth.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I'm just growling, and I just toss it to one side as blood is dripping from my jaws, and I'm just turning around wondering who's going to be next.
Is there anything else you can do with any of your abilities or anything?
Nope. That's about it.
These guys are pretty focused on you still. They are all going to attack at you. For this purpose of expediency, I'll just do all of their attack rolls at once. First of all, there were 3 still attacking you with spears. So they're going to go first. First one's a miss. Second one hits. Third one's a miss. The one that hits does... We'll say this one's a little bit less damage.
What number would qualify a hit?
14 in this
14?
case. Oh man, what is with these attack rolls?
So I've got 9 hit points remaining in wolf form.
Okay, so that was a pretty bad hit. The other 2 are going to attack you as well, but they are going to snap at you with their teeth. One of them hits. It is gonna do actually less damage. It is gonna do 3 damage.
The first number was nice.
So that puts your pool pretty low, but that is their turn. Sije, you are next.
I'm gonna move next to Caitlin, but yeah, I'll go like right in front of the one on the left side. Here.
Oh, okay. So you don't wanna flank them?
No, because I'm gonna turn to Caitlin and use lay on hands on her.
Oh, sorry, you actually used your pool already. Yeah, you used your 5 points, right?
I have no idea.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna throw you a bone here.
I thought it was you can restore a number of hit points, paladin level times 5.
Yeah, but it reduces from a pool that basically recovers after you rest. So you could do like 1 point or 2 points, but then it would take those points out of the total pool of 5. Like it goes up 5 every level, so it's actually a very good skill. Let me just throw you a bone here though and say we'll do some divine flavor here as a paladin. You run up and man, you just cannot stop thinking about how much simpler things were with the mantle core before you ever left the mantle. And
Yeah.
you feel the warmth of the mantle core through your entire body as it's almost like it can hear your concerns. You lay your hands on Caitlin.
I'm gonna do 3.
After this, you have 2 more in your pool, but Caitlin goes back up to 9. Did you want to still move? You could maneuver around the creature to flank it.
Would that give them an opportunity to attack?
Nope, because you can still stay in its general circumference. Like you can move around like that, kind of in a battle stance, if you get my meaning.
Right. Yeah.
And then that would give her an attack with advantage.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll do that.
So while you're doing that, the Azur up here takes a swing at the Cloudforged again and totally misses. But the Cloudforge returns with a fist that doesn't even make purchase. It's punching at nothing at this point. Meanwhile, the creature's flying above it, pulling at it with a net around the Cloudforge. It's not strong enough to lift this hulking construct. Meanwhile, while all that is going on, these 3 Azur over here are torching the shipyard building. So Norren, it is now your turn.
I run up to flank. I run to the side to flank what's gonna flank the enemy on Caitlin, and I run and just do a leaping jump to try to stab this creature in the head with my axe.
So your hunter's mark now focuses on this enemy.
I was almost 17 too.
You pull out your hand axe and the thing fumbles in your hands. You're too focused on the creature. You got to be focused on the weapon and the creature at the same time. Unfortunately, it takes you a full 6 seconds to regain control over your hand axe. With the other 2 NPCs, the same thing is going to go on. They're going to attack one another. This time, Alisaria pulls back her katana. She makes a swing. And this swing leaves the creature in front of her in 2, with each side parting ways for her blade. And that
vertically or horizontally?
Horizontally.
Yes.
And Caitlin, even though you are in wolf form, you can't help but feel some sort of honor sharing the same chromosomes with this badass female drow. And she looks over at what's going on, blinks, and runs over to these 2 creatures over here. Meanwhile, Audie is still toe-to-toe with this other creature, and she is going to take a swing, which hits. And
I shout over everyone's shoulders, "You got this, Audie!"
And same thing, this is her 3rd successful attack for a decent amount of damage. She thrusts at this thing, poking it with her, or sorry, she doesn't have a sword, she has a mace. She bashes this thing over the head, caving in its skull. Blood splatters all over the place as that creature also falls down. She too looks over at the lot of you. He's gonna run over just behind you, Norren.
The rest of Norren can hear the rest of the team thinking, "Why wasn't she on our team originally?"
Yeah, what that damn 2 that you guys had. God damn it. It is now Kate's turn.
Awesome. For now, I am going to attack the one bottom left between me and Havi.
Okay, cool.
So that's going to be my target. What happens? Natural 20?
Ooh.
Double natural 20!
How do you want to kill this?
Okay, is this thing focused on me or on Sije right?
We'll say with the maneuvering around the creature, its attention is now turned to Sije as it's looking over its shoulder, repositioning to attack.
So as it's turning around, Sije, from your perspective, this thing is turning to look at you. A shape suddenly looms above it. The wolf comes down on it, and I just grab it by the back of the neck as I begin crunching down on it. It begins... Do these things scream in pain?
We'll say the screaming is kind of almost like a gurgling croak. Like, you can tell it's screaming, but it's alien from your perspective.
Okay, yeah, I am just thrashing this thing around in my jaws. I let go for a moment. It falls on the ground. I pull it over so that its back is on the ground, and I just go down and I rip its throat clean out so you can see just the back of its spine through its throat. And it just dies as I crunch down and just swallow a lump of raw, fishy, amphibious meat.
Since you did so well, I also want you to do the athletics check thing again.
Okay, let's see what happens. This is a d20 plus 3. That's only a 9.
So in your frenzy, you're jumping up and down. Sand is kicking up in the air, flying all over the place. And it does obscure the battlefield a little. Everybody is going to get a +1 to their AC. Actually, let's make it +2, because I feel like it's going to be a little bit more irritating than that. That includes the enemies. Sand, it's everywhere. Get used to it. Okay, so there are now 2 of these amphibious creatures that have spears, and they are both going to attack at you, Caitlin. And one hits. Sorry.
It's okay.
And it does 3 points of damage.
I have 3 hit points remaining.
And the remaining 2 are going to turn their attention to you, Norren. Actually, we'll say this one attacks you, and the other one actually is a little bit startled, so it's going to move out of your range, and doing so, it'll hear a attack of opportunity. Roll a quick attack roll, Norren.
What is attack of opportunity?
So basically, if a monster moves out of your attack range or attempts to move out of your attack range, you'll have an opportunity to attack it if you're in melee.
You get a free hit.
Yeah.
Well, I like that.
You're going to roll for your hand axe. So that's a hit. Now roll D6 plus 1 and another D6. So that is 7 points of damage. The thing is startled by all the movement of the Caitlin wolf jumping and picking dust up and sand up into the air, and you take this opportunity to slash at the creature as it tries to maneuver around the wolf, and you slash across the back of its shoulder, breaking skin. The thing gurgles out in pain, but it is still alive. So the other one is going to attempt to snap at you in return. Its jaws clap in front of your face. You take a step back, narrowly avoiding the attack. Sije, it is now your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna run right behind this one.
Or you could, FYI, you could probably finish this one off.
Yeah, I'll go for that one then.
You move over there. You want to attack with your halberd?
Yeah.
Do your attack roll twice for advantage. So far, so good.
Let's go.
So you hit, roll for damage.
And those would be the last time I see those numbers.
Man, these enemies got so many max attack rolls.
I know, what the heck, man? Are you shitting me?
You know what? That's actually enough to kill it.
God.
So, you've noticed Norren attacking this thing as it tried to skedaddle away, and you take that opportunity to run up behind it, gut it through the back, piercing all the way through to its stomach, follow through, ripping off a section of its side, and the thing flops over dead, yeeted away from life.
I'm just gonna do the sand people raising my halberd above my head and just screaming.
I would love to hear your impersonation of that. That was shockingly accurate.
Okay, so the Azur.
Amazing.
The Azur are gonna go again.
I mean, they're far away from us. We're happy.
Oh man, this guy just keeps missing. So pretty much the same thing as before. The Azure swings with its huge great axe, and somehow it misses this ginormous target in front of it. The Cloudforge just steps over the swing casually. Meanwhile, the creature flying above it is still yanking on that net and not making any progress.
Apparently
It
do
clearly
not
doesn't
have the
lift.
stats to wield this weapon.
It doesn't lift, bro.
But the Cloudforged reels back its cauldron. It reels back its cauldron, one-handed, and slams it against the great axe wielding Azure, caving in its skull while doing so. There's a burst of flame. Unfortunately, the Cloudforged is also going to take damage. He is covered in scorch marks as the flame glows against his form, and he is looking pretty woozy, but the Azure in front of him is dead. Meanwhile, these other three Azure continue torching the shipyards. There is now fire billowing out of the building as they continue. And this guy's going to drop his net after what he just saw, and he's going to start to fly away, but in so doing, he is going to take an attack of opportunity from Cauldron Man. Unfortunately, Cauldron Man misses. That would have been pretty cool, though. So that creature flies off the battlefield, returning from whence he came. It is now Norren's turn.
I turn to Adi and say it's really good to see you and thank God you're here and thank God you're okay. But I need you to help back up my friends, and I need to go try to stop these people from killing everybody in this town. And I head towards these people torching the shipyards with my arrow drawn. And
just a heads up, if you do that...
Is that another attack of opportunity on the person in front of me?
Yeah, if you walk out of his range now, he will get an attack of opportunity. So
Okay.
that might change what you want to do. But
Actually,
you could disengage, but you'll lose your chance to attack if you do so.
Okay, we probably should stick together then.
But you could, honestly, you don't even have to move to get an attack of opportunity where you're at, because you guys are still technically flanking the one closest to you.
And I don't get the flank if I use my bow, right? I have to use my axe?
Yeah.
Okay, I once again pull out my axe. As the battle is taking place and everything's happening all at once, I look and I see the glints of the shine of the metal on my axe spark one more time, and I just have the urge to all of a sudden just land that straight into the skull of this creature again. The rage of this battle is starting to take over, and just Norren feels a complete urge to just destroy this creature.
All right, do it up. There you go. And then you get another D6 for Hunter's Mark. Ooh. Same as last time. Similarly to the previous dude who you nicked as he was running away, this one you slash at the back of, and he looks over at you. His attention is turned off of Caitlin Wolf. He is looking mad. But it is now the NPC's turns. Alisaria is going to step forward and attack this amphibious creature, and it's not looking good for the creature.
I think we should just let the NPCs take over at this point.
The whole idea was this is like a city siege, so there's a lot of shit going on. She is going to attack and slice at the creature's chest. She's going to do a second attack with her action surge. And this time as she makes the upward motion against the creature's chest, she comes back down, slashing through its neck, getting it right through the jugular and continuing as the creature flops over dead, not quite in the water, but dead like a fish out of water. The other creature will now approach her and probably gonna miss. And it misses. Snapping at her.
They were inspired by my movements.
Caitlin, it is now your turn.
Okay, cool. I am going to attack this. Has this lower one here taken any hits so far?
That one has not taken any hits.
Not yet, anyway. I'm going to attack that one. And as a wolf, I have the ability Pack Tactics. I have advantage on an attack roll against a creature if at least one of my allies is within 5 feet of the creature and is not incapacitated. So basically, because this villager is there, that counts. It's a 14 to hit.
And it just, through the dust, you just barely succeed.
Okay, awesome. That's 8 points of damage, and this thing needs to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. So it is going to roll a 10.
Okay, my DC for this is the DC for this is 13.
Okay, so that is not good.
So the result of this, I bite it on the ankle and I drag it down to the ground. It's still alive, but it's knocked prone.
Nice. That is your turn. It is now the creature's turn. This one is going to take a turn standing back up. The other two, the one with the spear is going to attack Caitlin and miss. Lunges at you through the cloud of dust, fails its attack. The second one is going to snap at Norren. Oh, man, that snapping jaw, it's like a Staffordshire Terrier about to rip somebody's face off. That's what you feel as it approaches you, Norren, but it's just barely held back by the obscuring dust kicked up around it. And man, that's their turn. This Cloudforge over here, he's going to look over at the Azure and look over at you guys, and he extends his wings and he's going to fly over and try to grapple this creature. And he goes to swoop down at the creature, does not succeed in grappling it. The creature just ducks as the Cloudforge swoops by and turns around behind him. The Azure are continuing to set flame to the building. The flames are now licking out just to the edge of these unconscious commoners. And now it is Sige's turn.
I'm gonna hit this dude. I'm just gonna go up to him and hit him.
With your halberd, or if you walk behind him, like right about here, you will get an attack of opportunity, or you can try for a general attack here.
Yeah, we'll go next to Norren.
Throw your d20s, 2 d20s. Second one is a hit, so roll for damage.
Yeah. And as I'm doing this, I am just gonna be saying, I am here to help.
Ooh, that is a really good attack. So you lunge forward, and just like the last amphibious creature, you start gutting this thing like the fish it resembles. Blood spills out from the other side as you pierce it in the obliques. Falls over dead. With that, it is the NPC's turn. Alisaria will go first, and she is going to simply attempt to attack this creature, and she is going to hit. She has not attacked this creature yet. You're all impressed by her by now. You guys watch as she kills this thing in one fucking slash. Horizontally chopping it across the belly, falls backwards, almost like a Pez dispenser, as blood sprays out over the boat, and the thing dies grotesquely. She somehow avoids getting any blood on her, and she just shakes the blood off her sword and turns towards you guys. She's actually going to go over here and flank this creature. Then Audie will be next. She's going to go to the other remaining amphibious creature, and she is going to attempt to attack it with her mace. But the cloud of dust is a little bit too much for her. She just swings blindly and does not find her target. Norren, it's your turn.
Just thinking back on all the times he was hunting in the forest, taking advantage of this dust storm, focuses his eyes and squints at the creature in front of him, and I pull out my bow and just try to do a straight shot at this creature in front of me.
You, I believe, get a much better roll for that. That was a d20 plus 8. So that's a hit. You will then roll d8 plus 4 and a d6.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Every single third roll is a 1. I don't understand.
But good news. The one roll on its own would not have been enough, but the one puts it over the edge. So you pull back your arrow, weighting the bowstring as hard as you can, and you let go with a thrum. A boing. The bowstring snaps, and the arrow pierces through the creature's eyeball, we'll say.
Oh.
And goes right through to the other side. The eyeball is now fish food, and the creature is dead.
I hope that poor NPC didn't get hit by that.
Yeah. He's actually giving you a thumbs up in the distance. Good job.
Say 4.
Yeah, 4. Caitlin, it is now your turn.
And then there was one, at least in this circle anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, Yeah. I'm gonna attack this one here. 15 to hit.
Sweet. The second one hits.
This one is the one that's... Is this guy still on the ground, or has he gotten back up?
He has gotten back up.
Okay. Oh, that is 9 points of damage.
That does not kill him, but
Okay.
it is
But
some good
he
damage.
still has to make a strength saving throw. Okay, he succeeds on the save.
You bite at him, snapping your jaws shut over him. He pulls out of it somehow. He has very slippery skin, as you might have managed. You feel slime and blood between your teeth as the creature cowers back, tending to its wounds. It is actually going to try to poke back at you with its spear, and it's kind of limp and shakily pointing at you with... It actually has its spear in its offhand now, and it is just shaking it in front of you as you can't even seem to focus on an attack. Sije, it's your turn.
I'm gonna go right. I'm just gonna go right here, and I'm gonna look right at the creature and be like, "I am here to help," and swing my halberd at it.
Roll 2d20s. Oof.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god!
Well, that's what the NPCs are for. So you do a very impressive, like, kind of twirl of your halberd in the air, and you slice down at it, but you actually slice down right beside it, and you say to yourself, "Oh, I thought this is where it was." The Cloudforged is actually going to go next, and similarly, he's going to try to grapple this creature, and he's going to succeed. Oh yeah. So he's going to fly, he's going to pick this quivering ore creature and fly it over the flames and drop it in, which is a little excessive, but the creature now takes... Actually, you know what? That is a little excessive. He's just going to fly 60 feet straight up in the air and drop the creature, and it is going to splat. There's no roll that can save it, basically, from that height. The creature pancakes in the sand. You didn't know sand could be that hard of an impact, but you hear the creature's bones snap as it lands flat on the ground. Meanwhile, the Azure are continuing to burn the shipyard, which is now engulfed in flame. The flame has now spread past this villager on the ground, and he's going to take some burning damage. But the other one, the flame hasn't quite gone past him yet. It is now Norren's turn.
I turn to look around and say, we have to deal with this now. I mean, the enemies are done. I'm heading over there right now. I have to start trying to help these people. And I make steps forward to start shooting at these creatures, setting fire the first moment I can make.
Which one do you want to attack?
I have a straight shot at this guy right in front of me right here. I'm just running at full speed, trying to get to the docks as fast as possible as I grab my bow, and as I'm running, I'm starting to aim.
Okay, so roll d20 plus 8.
He's just sweating and hoping and praying that this shot will land.
That is actually going to hit.
Okay.
So that's your damage. Then your Hunter's Mark is another d6 on top of that.
Okay.
Which Hunter's Mark lasts an hour as long as you have concentration. Very close. So this thing, you recall, you know about the Azure through your studies of the elemental planes, but you pull back your bowstring with bow in hand or arrow in hand and let arrow loose. It flies through the air. You're half expecting it to ping against the bronze skin of the Azure, but it actually makes purchase and chunk goes right into his back shoulder blade. And you do see a trickle of blood as the creature looks over its shoulder at you and is distracted from its evil task of burning this building down. It is now the NPC's turn.
I'd also just like to say that after I let loose the arrow, regardless of not doing much damage, I just start yelling and just trying to distract them to divert their attention towards us.
Audie is also going to pull out her longbow. She's going to use Hunter's Mark as well. And she hits, even though she's not particularly an archer. She similarly copies your previous action, Norren, and the bow goes flying through the air. And this one, you expect it to bounce off, but it pierces the Azure's skull. The thing blinks in front of you all, its eyes glowing with fire as it does so. Suddenly, the flames in its eyes go out as it falls forward dead.
Okay.
So that is pretty badass. It is Kate's turn.
There are still some enemies up here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also the commoners. One of them is burning, and this one is not yet engulfed. They're both still alive and unconscious. I will say you could roll an athletics check with a low DC, but you won't be able to wake it. You could, if you succeed the athletics checks, you can drag him.
I'm also looking at the range for Healing Word. Oh, it's 60 feet. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to go out of wolf form back into my human form.
Already?
My movement action, I'm going to go here, to around this square here, basically as far as I can move for a standard movement. And as a bonus action, I'm going to do Healing Word because it's within 60 feet, and this unconscious guy over here on the ground, on the far left, I'm going to cast Healing Word on him to try and give him some hit points and wake him up.
Let's do that then.
So all of you just hear a as suddenly, like combat's over, and I run forward, morphing back into Caitlin as I am scrambling across the sand on all fours before getting into a bit of an uneasy run, just panting as I throw a hand out and a mote of magic erupts from my hand to shoot over to the guy. I'm gonna roll a d4 and add 3 to the result.
Sweet.
5 hit points.
The villager, or the commoner, sorry, he does wake up. He's still doing pretty bad though, and he's on fire. I'm gonna give him movement, so he's just gonna dash into the water. I guess that's your turn. In the background, we have the
Alright guys, the cops are coming.
Yeah, the music of downtown Victoria.
Well, hopefully there's some fire trucks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we live right next to this fire station, too. So it is Sige's turn next.
Awesome.
And Sige, you do still have your wings out as well, so you could still fly 60 feet if you want to do any movement.
Yeah, I will fly to, if I can't fly to that spot.
Yep, you can make it right in front of him. So Javi, you could fly right here, and you still have enough action to either wake the commoner or carry him. Or sorry, attempt to carry him.
Yeah, I'll attempt to carry him.
So roll athletics throw.
Fuck.
I didn't even have the window open to see the rolls. I just
Man, this guy's heavy.
That's pretty much the sound of the dice is the fuck. So you fly over to the commoner and land on the cobblestone. There's fire licking at your face, but it's a little about 15 feet away, so you're still okay. But you reach down to grab the commoner, and the flames are a little bit too much for you, so unfortunately you don't succeed in grabbing him. But the Azure, this one doesn't see you because his way is blocked by that pillar, so he's continuing to burn the shipyard, which is engulfing in flame. The flame has spread. I'll draw it out for you guys. It is now starting to engulf this villager, and also this whole area is under fire. So the Azure that's in the flame is going to run out. Actually, he is going to dash towards you. Then the NPCs will go. Alisaria is going to go first. She's actually going to take a turn to wake up this commoner, and then she's going to use the rest of her movement. Meanwhile, Audie is going to attack the Azure right there, or attempt to, with her bow. And she looses arrow through air, and it flies into the flames and just disappears in the flames.
And she says, fuck.
Damn it. It is now Norren's turn.
I'm seeing the smoke rise. I'm seeing the flames rise. I'm seeing the heat, feeling the heat on my face. I'm watching as we're trying to save this person and take a deep breath, close my eyes, and I can feel the heat and the flames just making the warmth on our lower bodies. And I take a one step closer, take a deep breath, and try to pull back one more arrow, just hoping this time I can land one. And I I pull the arrow back, and I just lock eyes with the one right in front of me, right here, and head to take a shot at this enemy as I'm slowly pacing towards it. And under my breath, I whisper like an arrow.
Hey!
Hey!
Hell yeah.
Yo.
Okay, so let's do your damage rolls. Okay, first roll D8 plus 4. Whew.
Then
roll
Oh boy.
roll a D6.
this is the one that worries me.
Okay, you got 16 total, and we're gonna double it because you got a crit. That was a pretty good roll, so you can split the damage between the two enemies and fire 2 bow shots, 1 at each of them, just to wrap this up. How do you want to kill them?
How do I want to kill them? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. The first one, I want to just get it into the neck, into the jugular, because I don't want anything piercing through to hit that poor unconscious person who's been through so much already. I just want to just nick it in the neck, and just blood sprays everywhere as it crumbles to the ground as both of them just stare at this person just crumble in front of them. And then I quickly turn my back, and then I just aim for the eye once again, and I shoot it, and I just watch the arrow kind of go in slow motion as it impacts the skull.
Sweet. And that one also falls over limp. Basically, these guys have 16 health, and you did 32. I just decided, what the hell? We're going to finish them both off, because I don't think that one can survive another round with you guys anyways. All the enemies are dead. Battle is not yet over, though, because there are still unconscious people on the battlefield. So it is now Kate's turn.
So the enemies are dead, but this guy is still on fire, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to run up 30 feet as close to the flames as I can, and I'm going to fire another healing word over to the guy who's over here in the flames to try and save his life. It's going to be a D4 plus 3 for me.
Forgot he was still on fire.
Yep, he's in the flames, so by default... Okay, that's 5 hit points.
Okay, sweet. He was at -1, so he is actually not in too bad of a situation. He is going to wake up, and even though he's in the flames, the flames haven't caught hold of his clothes yet, so he's able to run out, just has some minor burns. He dashes out, and he's actually going to wake this Warforged here, which we'll say is his... He's the builder of this Warforged. I just spontaneously decided. So that leaves everybody accounted for and all the enemies dead.
Go team.
That is that encounter. If you guys want to take a break, actually, I'll tell you how much experience you all got before we take a break.
Should get a nice circle, and I can use my Goodberry spell and give everyone a healing boost.
So I actually threw in a gimmick to this battle, which you did pretty good on. So for each for each commoner, including the Cloudforged that survived, I'm giving the party a bonus of 100 XP. So you get 500 for that.
You get a learning bonus for all the missed shots.
Sorry, and then you got 3 of the Azure, which were 600 total.
Now, is this I'm sorry.
Sorry, you can go ahead.
So for experience points, is it individually scored versus, let's say Caitlin kills one, does Caitlin get the chunk of that points, or is this like a shared experience of just engaging in general?
It's shared, so I'm going to add it all up and divide it by 3. Unfortunately, the monsters that were soloed by NPCs will not count, which is part of the reason why I threw so many into the battle, because I wanted it to feel like an actual
Well, that was intense. That was awesome.
A lot was going on.
You guys actually did worse against the amphibious creatures than intended. They got a lot of really good hits off on you.
I was trying to these great theatrical moments, and then my bow just drops or snaps or something. A gust of wind knocks me off my feet or something.
So you will all get 565 experience.
560?
565.
565.
Which actually I think is enough to level everybody.
That puts me at 915.
So you'll hit level 3. Norren will hit level 3.
I'm actually at 915 as well.
And Sije, I think, is just under...
Yeah, I'm at 765.
Yeah, let's pick up where we left off. So you all feel a sense of a sense of accomplishment at finishing the battle that you just undertook at the beach in front of the shipyard. You look up and the shipyard is engulfed in flame. There are airships converging down on the city, creatures coming off of all of them. You see flying creatures carrying commoners off in nets. Caitlin, you are concerned about your siblings, so we'll start with you.
Okay, so I'm just looking around dazed because I just turned into a wolf and then more magic came out of me and I brought 2 people back from maybe the brink of death. The whole place is on fire. A lot is going on. I am looking around, just a panting, sweaty mess. And just then I remember that my siblings are somewhere out there, and I will say that, both of you, you see that Caitlin just immediately after the fight, she just turns and she starts running all over again.
So when you look up at the airships converging in the sky, you see a couple of things. First of all, airships, they're mostly going in this direction, down that alley.
Okay.
And there's a lot of monsters dropping off in that section.
How much of this is on fire?
This whole building right here is on fire. We'll say, Norren, you take a look around and you see this windmill is not in a good way. To remind you, there's a capsule sticking out of the side of it, and people are running from this beach or up through the quayside wharf here. You turn to look behind you, and you actually see Drakneg, the hobgoblin you met earlier, Urus, the Aarakocra, and Virgil are all fighting creatures back here, and they're holding their own. Just to continue on, this area, you see tons of monsters being dropped off into. Over here, there's nothing being dropped off to, but you do see people running down that street, and there are monsters, which contextually you guys gather that they are the monsters that came out of that capsule earlier. So with that going on,
And I thought those were loose.
so with that in mind, Caitlin, you're running. Would you rather take the alley or the wharf?
Is there any difference between them that I can notice?
I'll say there are no airships above this wharf, but this one, the bulk of the skiffs and one of the brigandines is flying over that alley right now.
Okay, I'm gonna say that my siblings were over to the north. So both paths lead to the same location. I'm gonna go one without the ships so that I can try to get there faster.
That is a good decision. Norren and Sije, do you follow?
I do. So I take it Audie is with us.
Yeah, she's still... You guys haven't talked to any of the NPCs since the battle, but she is standing at the beachhead, she's still holding the bow that she used, and she's just scanning around, taking stock of the situation.
I go over to Audie and I talk to her and I say, we basically come here. All we knew was just these notes, and now we're in this situation. I think we should stick together. I think you and I should stay together, but we should follow Caitlin and stay as the group.
She looks around at the situation, and she points towards Drak, the hobgoblin you guys met, Virgil, and Urus, and she speaks. Looks like some of those creatures are coming from our rear. I'll cover the rear while you lot escape. Alisaria also nods. I'll assist you. And the Cloudforged with the cauldron steps forward. My name's Fry. I'm gonna help too. So they've agreed that they're actually gonna cover you from being chased while you guys follow Caitlin. Sorry, Sije, did you want to do anything before we go to the next map?
Am I still in the burning building?
You're standing 5 feet from the flames, basically.
Yeah, I'm leaving the flames, so
Okay.
wherever that goes, I'm leaving.
So you fly over here. And Sije, while you're flying, you hear a familiar voice. Sije! And out comes, running out from the alley, you see Jazz. And he runs over. He sees you all heading towards the quay, the quay. So he's going to follow you. I like saying quay better. Fun fact, he's actually a paladin. So he is going to heal some of you guys. As you're running, he catches up to you. How much health did you have left, Caitlin?
Honestly, I was at full hit points before the fight, and I only took damage when I was in wolf form.
Oh, okay. I see. So you have a different
Good
hit
news
pool.
is, yeah, I'm currently at 100%.
Did I take any damage during that battle? I don't think I did.
You did not take damage, and you have a lot of hit points, too. So you guys go forward into the next battle map, which is what I call the Quayside Wharf. So you run out into the street, Kate, and you do see some enemies, but they are... You recognize the Azure were quite a bit easier than some of the other things you fought. And actually, let's get everybody to roll for initiative, because I would like you to get better rolls.
We're down here.
Initiative roll, you said?
As you guys come out, you see a couple of Azure ganging up on a commoner. You also see 2 flying fiends ganging up on another commoner, and a bunch of those slug things are fighting commoners as well. But beyond that, Caitlin, you see Billy McMurray and 2 villagers taking on a burning Rottweiler.
Oh no, Billy McMurray is in trouble. No.
And beyond that, you see a dark-skinned young woman, a cloud-forged, and a pale deep gnome fighting another one of those burning Rottweilers. And Sije, you recognize those 2 people as Malia and Pitgazer. You haven't seen Malia for a whole day, pretty much. She dipped out when you guys arrived, and you didn't realize for a long while. But let's check what you guys all rolled.
Okay, so is a D20 plus 4 for initiative for me?
So those are...
If you're a Gloomstalker, that's 1d20 plus 7.
So the battle is going to start with Kate.
All right, I'm gonna at the site of combat again to go back into dire wolf form as a bonus action, and I'm gonna attack one of these fire guys right here. I will go enough to the north so that the villager here can get advantage on his attacks because I'm flanking this thing.
Sweet. So roll your attacks.
Oh, good. NPCs will count for advantage or flank as well. Perfect.
And by the way, Kami, you still have your hunter's mark. It lasts for an hour, and only like 5 minutes have passed since you used it.
How long is it? An actual hour or is it in-game hour?
In-game hour.
What's the?
So each turn of combat is 6 seconds. So not a lot of time has passed.
So my snare is pretty unusable right now.
Yeah, you use. I mean, it's usable, but if you do use it, you'll lose your hunter's mark. So just use the hunter's mark for now. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good to know because I thought that I wasn't able to use it until it freed up. So if I choose so, I can cancel it out and just. Okay, perfect.
Yep. Okay, so that was a hit. Go ahead.
And now for damage.
Oh boy.
Baby.
Damn, that's really good.
And he also has to make a strength saving throw, DC 13.
So that was a failure from the Azure.
Okay, so I grab him by the ankle and I drag him down to the ground. He is now prone.
Okay, as you do so, you feel your mouth burn with the lick of flame, and unfortunately you do take 5 points of damage.
Okay, and I will roll hit points for myself right now. I have 35 max hit points, take 5 damage. That is, 30 hit points remaining.
Okay, sweet. It is now the Azure's turn. So that one is going to stand up, and that's all he's going to do for his turn. This one is focused in on that commoner, so he is going to attack it, or try to, with his... This one has a javelin, and it is a hit. Ooh, man, what are with these maxed out rolls? So he pokes at the villager, the commoner rather, and breaks skin, leaving a gaping hole in the side of the villager's oblique. Fortunately, the villager still stands. It is now Norren's turn.
I run to the side and I get on the other side of this enemy to try to flank him as well. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep a little bit of distance because I don't want to set on fire.
Oh yeah, your bow does a lot of damage too, FYI.
Yeah, it's like I try to add like a little variety to it, you know? So I go the other side to try to take care of the other person and I try to free up this villager and help. And so Caitlin and I can hit it on from both sides. And I pull my arrow back and I try to keep some distance to keep away from the flames, but also get a shot into his neck.
Sorry, were you fighting the one Caitlin, or trying to shoot at the one Caitlin's? Oh, so the one you were just next to?
Yes.
That one? Okay.
That's one, yes.
So roll 1d20, d20 plus 8 for damage. Or sorry, for attack. And that is a hit. Roll for damage, which is d8 plus 4 and a d6.
And a d6?
Yeah.
Well, that wonderful roll went to shit.
Okay.
Is this where I trip on a rock and just land on my face?
No, it's actually decent. I guess you've gotten a few good rolls, so it kind of messes with the expectations a little bit. This is very average.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would just assume the 1 was just kind of like...
I mean, you got a 1 and a 2, but together it's 7, which is... I mean, you roll a d8 for your bow, so with all the bonuses stacking, adding up, basically.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, you draw back, and remembering that the Azure has a very tough skin made of bronze, you pull back as tight as you can, and you let loose your arrow, and it does go through and stick into the back of the Azure's shoulder. Meanwhile, the flying creatures to the left of you guys are really giving this villager a hard time, chasing him around and poking at him with forks. The villager is still alive, though, but he's getting bloodied around the waist. It is now Sige's turn.
I am going to equip my shield and flail. I basically put my halberd on my back, and just as I equip my flail, you see an anvil slam into the concrete, and I just drag it as I move to here.
So do an attack roll with advantage. Roll 2d20s.
Oh shit!
Oh, nice. Roll again. So roll for damage.
Okay. I gotta change that to that's it. Okay.
Or actually, you could still do another roll, and if you get, because you had advantage, if you get another d20, I'll let you do some pool flavor.
So wait, what do I do?
Roll another d20.
Roll another.
I know it's a lot. So yeah, roll for damage, and that is that is not enough. You swing, and the anvil ding hits the side of the Azure's head, and the thing is rocking back and forth, dizzy. It looks over its shoulder at you, and you see a visible dent, kind of in the shape of a square where the base of the anvil end of the flail made purchase, but it's still alive. Up here, if I could grab your attention up here, basically, Caitlin, you see Billy swinging a fisherman's spear at this creature, this burning hound, and he does hit it. The other two commoners kind of move into flank, and they're doing the same. The creature takes a step over here, and it inhales and breathes out a cone of fire, which engulfs both Billy and the villager next to him. And when the flames die out, you see Billy laying on the ground, unconscious, next to the other commoner. Meanwhile, up here, the other creature, this Cloud Forged, corners it with Pit Gazer, and they're poking at it with their weapons. Pit Gazer drawing out his short sword with the Cloud Forged, using a great big warhammer to smash down on it. They both hit. Meanwhile, Sige, you see Malia take a step back, and you're a little bit shocked to see her do some arm gestures, and she holds both of her hands crisscrossed in front of her, and 3 glowing orbs extend out of her hands, very quickly making impact with the creature, which stumbles back a little bit as it's hit by all 3 of those attacks. And down here with the slug things and the villagers, basically they are starting to envelop some of these commoners, and they are not having, the commoners are not having a fun time. This one is dashing away, so yeah, he's gonna go over there. And it is now Kate's turn again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after the same guy over here and just wailing on him. At 20. Roll again, just to see what happens. 19, very close, but okay. Yeah, for a critical hit, I double the amount of dice, but I leave the modifier the same. That's 46 plus 3. Plus 3, 15 damage.
So, how do you want to kill this guy?
He's on fire? Yeah, I guess I'm going to... There's a building behind me. I guess I'm just gonna lock onto his ankle, like spin, swing him around so that out of sheer force, he flies out of my jaws and hits the wall of the nearby building neck first.
His neck snaps, and man, you did not think this thing had bones, but you hear a non-metallic chink as his head cracks against the side of the building and he falls limp and motionless, and the flame coating his body dulls out.
Excellent. Okay. All right. And how are you guys with this one down here?
He already got quite a bit of, or a decent amount of damage on him, so he should be done fairly soon.
Okay. Would you guys be all right if I were to move up here to help one of the villagers tank these guys?
Absolutely. With too many
Go
people
for it.
have died already.
I will move over here if that's okay.
So you run over there and you notice the creatures are trying to envelop the villager, who looks to be somewhat weakened.
I'm just barking rapidly and snarling and just being as loud as possible so that they...
Jazz finally enters the battlefield. He was running behind you guys somewhat, and he looks around at what's going on, and he is going to run up this way and dash over to Malia. It is now the Azur's turn. He is going to go for Sije. So he is going to swing his javelin, or attack with his javelin, which surprisingly is a hit.
Oh, I have my shield up.
Oh yeah, so you're 20 with the shield? So that is a miss then. He pokes at you with his javelin, and you just hold your shield in front of yourself, sturdy like a wall, and he pokes, ting, and there is no damage. And it's now Norren's turn.
If I use the snare thing, is that a full turn, or can I do something after that?
It is a turn. I would say save it for later.
Well, no, because I was thinking I could try to save this person by ensnaring one, but also shooting arrows at the other one.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it's a regular action.
Or I could ensnare Billy, just so he gets kind of screwed over.
Wow.
I mean, I'm down for that.
Let me just
We're a
double
team
check.
now, you know, we gotta help each other out.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't have any lay on hands, Billy. Oh no.
Oh,
Just using it on
Billy.
everyone else.
I have good berries, but not bad berries.
You're just like, I don't have any good berries. Just dumps it all on the ground.
Yeah. And just step on all of them like, oh no, look what happened.
I will just add, if you do use your ensnaring strike, you'll lose your hunter's mark for the day, basically.
I do know that, but so many people have died, and it's just like, should we try to save as many villagers as possible, or do I just sacrifice it? This is like a trolley situation.
Up to you. And you were thinking of going for one of those imps, or...
Well, the two flying ones messing with that dude, I was thinking like I'd try to attempt to neutralize one, but also take one, or at least start taking damage so it's distracted and come towards me, as opposed to the poor villager.
Well, there is also the other villager who's flanking the Azur with Havi, or with Sije.
Okay. Yeah, I should probably just try to take that one out. Okay, so looking around, Norren is just trying to make up his mind. He's seen all this. He's seen the flames. He's seen the people fighting to the side. Unable to, just trying to deal with what's in front of him, pulls his arrow one more time to try to finally take out this creature in front of him.
Okay, so roll for attack. That is going to miss. So you pull back your bow, a little bit overconfident because of how many of these things you've killed already, and you let loose without pulling back all the way, and the arrow ricochets off of the creature's skin.
Really distracting me.
It's too much of boyish good looks. The creatures over here continue to fly around and attack the commoner there. He tries to make a bolt for it, but they lash at him with their tails, and he trips and falls to the ground, hits his head on the fall, and is now unconscious. They laugh in the distance. It is now Sige's turn.
Awesome. I'm gonna start first with my normal action of attacking the Azur.
Okay, go for it. Oof. So that is a miss.
Chris, what's Caitlin's AC?
My AC is 14.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on you.
All right, that.
So now your AC goes up by 2. And then I'm just gonna stay right here for the villager or the commoner.
Then from there, it will go to the folks up here. Billy and that commoner are going to make saving throws. Oof. So yeah, they're tossing and turning, cinders on their boots. They're not coated in flames. They're definitely worse for wear. The other commoner is going to disengage, start running away over in that direction, and the creature is going to follow right at his heels and attack. Actually, I'm not going to roll for that. I'll just say bites at the creature's heels, bites at the commoner's heels. In doing so, gets Jazz's attention. Over here, Pitgazer and the Cloudforge continue to wail on this creature. And Malia does the hand gesture you saw her do earlier and fires 3 more oblong orbs at the creature, all 3 impacting them loudly as they do so. The creature is going to bite at this Warforged. I keep saying Warforged. He is going to go unconscious. The Warforged, Cloudforged, that is. Down here, with Caitlin and the Slug people, they are going to continue enveloping these humans. This guy in front of you, Caitlin, you see his eyes go unconscious as one of them starts devouring him head to toe. The human, basically his upper torso and his whole upper body is now in the creature's mouth, and his legs are kicking out. Actually, they're limp in the air. The same with this guy over here. So that's their turn. Kate, it's your turn.
I'm going to start to attack these things that are just engulfing this poor guy. And I'm just going to start ripping and tearing and just trying to peel as much off of him as I can.
Okay, roll.
Okay, and because he is next to me, this count as pack tactics and having advantage?
Yes. Okay.
Right, that is a 12.
So that's a hit. Roll for damage. Ooh.
Hit.
So
damage.
So you gnash at this thing, and man, it does not taste good. It is not yummy. It is like kind of a rotten taste in your mouth. But you eviscerate the creature in front of you. Just parts of him are lying on the ground in front of you.
Excellent. Okay.
We'll remove him from the battlefield.
Yeah, and because I forgot to do so, I'm going to say that as I'm ripping and tearing, I just felt myself hit a new level of anger that I never have before. And yeah, basically both of you watch as my eyes just start glowing green and the muscles underneath my fur begin to ripple as if I grow just the slightest bit bigger from before. So yeah, I use my bonus action to go into a Barbarian Rage. And that's going to be it for my turn.
Do you actually want to move at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna move up here just a little bit so that I can attack this thing next round. Thanks very much.
All right. It is now the Azur's turn. He realizes he's not getting anywhere with Sije, so he's going to maneuver around him, and he's going to attempt to attack you, Norren, because he has to do something fast or you guys are going to get him. And he's going to hit. So you're taken back a bit because you have not been attacked in the last several minutes, and it lunges forward at surprising speed for its size, and it does 5 points of damage, 3 points of fire damage as well. So the tip of the spear has pulls on it, and it burns your skin as it actually goes through, breaking the skin around your shoulder. And now it's your turn.
I hop back and feeling the pain searing inside of me, and after being distracted by watching Caitlin turn into this just bestial form, even just the chaos happening around us. And then once I get bit, I kind of come to, and the pain snaps me back into the battle in front of me. And I hop to the side, and I pull out my hand axe to try to just flank this creature and finally get him done once and for all, and just take double fist my hand axe and smash it onto his skull.
You are going to roll a d20 plus 3, and you're going to roll it twice. That's a hit. Sweet. So you pull back, you reel back to attack with your hand axe, and you plunk right in the middle of its forehead. You see the light in its eyes dim out, but it gives one final burst of flame while it does so. And it's going to do 2 more points of damage against you, but it's dead. Now it's these creatures. They are going to fly over. One of them's going to fly over to you, Sije. It just sees a big, what it thinks is an easy target. It is going to, first, it's going to attack you with its spear, and it lunges forward, but ding, just ricochets off of your shield, but then it's going to follow through with an attack from its tail, which similarly don't do shite. So it slaps its tail against your ankles and you don't feel anything. Meanwhile, this other one, seeing that its partner didn't have much luck, is going to go for Norren, and it's going to do the same thing. Oof. So its attack with the spear hits. The attack with the tail does not. Okay, with the spear, it does 4 damage. Sorry, was your max hit points 19?
I'm at 11 right now. My hit point maximum is 25.
That didn't save for me earlier, so I'm just going to fix that. Okay, you're at 11. I just noticed, like, that doesn't seem as high as it should be. Okay, so that is their turn. Sije, you're next.
I'm gonna hit this imp with my flail.
Okay, go for it. And that is a hit. Roll for damage.
Awesome.
Ooh, not too bad. You swing at the tiny flying creature and you almost swat at it. It flattens against your flail, but it does manage to fly loose. It's still alive, but it's looking a little worse for wear. Was there anything else you wanted to do for your turn?
If I disengage, I don't think I can go. I need to move behind the one that's attacking Norren.
You won't be able to disengage, unfortunately. You could move, but it will get an attack of opportunity. But I will remind you, you do have very high AC, so the chances that that succeeds are pretty low.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So you are gonna try to make your way past that creature, and it's gonna actually hit you. So it pokes at you. You have no worries in the world. It pokes at you at the ankles as you try to make your way away, and then it lashes its tail. The tail doesn't do anything, but the spear does hit for 6 points of damage.
Oh, okay.
So not a terrible thing, but actually a pretty good hit overall. Yeah, and that's your turn. So go back up here to these creatures. The one to the right is yanking at that villager by the ankles, and it goes into death-shaking mode. It's shaking its head, and this guy is flailing around as he does so, and the lupine creature tosses the guy against the wall, and he looks to be unconscious. But Jazz is going to go ahead and try to attack. You see... Sorry, I have to see what weapon I gave Jazz. You see Jazz pull out a scimitar, and he takes a couple of strikes at the lupine creature, and he actually seems to be holding up pretty well against it. Meanwhile, over here, where Pitgazer is, he is going to continue to attack that creature with his dagger. He's having a lot of trouble with it, though. Meanwhile, Malia's stepping back further, and she is going to pull out her short bow and take a pot shot at that creature as well. The creature's actually going to disengage. He's going to make a running pounce at that commoner, pushing him to the ground, and he can't attack him this turn, but he is barking at the commoner while he is mounting the prone guy. These slug people down here, the one that has the commoner in its mouth continues to swallow him. He is now, only the ankles are showing with his boots sticking out of the monster's mouth. And the same thing is happening to the one to the left. The other creatures are making their way towards you. This one's actually going to attack you, or try to, and it makes a fist and takes a swing, and it hits you, but you don't feel anything. This guy is actually kind of pathetic. So, Kate, it is now your turn.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep ripping and tearing. I am in a full-on rage, and all I want is to just rip these things apart. That is a 14 to hit. Damage is 11 altogether.
Are you attacking the one with the dude in his mouth?
Yeah, the same one I've been fighting for the last bit.
Okay, so you attack him, and
also, because I'm raging, that's an additional +2 damage, so it's 13 altogether.
Okay, so you attack, and similarly, you take a bite out of this guy. He actually regurgitates the commoner, who now falls out onto the ground, covered in slime. He is unconscious and prone, but you eviscerate this creature. He is toast. Anything else you want to do?
That's everything I can do for right now. So
Okay.
I'm going to stand my ground and just get damage sponge.
While all that's happening, you guys see a couple of those larger spined winged guys swoop down. One of them throws a net on Billy, and it surrounds him. The other one grabs it, and they start carrying him off. And actually, you see two more go this way, and one of them throws a net on Malia, which she is still conscious, so she will make they will make a row for that. Ooh, we'll see how bad it is. Okay, so he throws his net and loses it. The second one tries to do the same thing, and it succeeds. So Malia is now covered in net, and the two creatures are holding onto it tight, but she's resisting, so they can't fly off like the one with Billy. They are now about 20 feet in the air off in that direction. It is now Norren's turn.
I look up at the creatures flying around us, and I try to take advantage, or I look up and I just try to take aim, just try to do a dead shot straight in the air, and I pull back my arrow as far back as I can go, just trying to take care of these flying creatures before they pick up any more poor villagers.
Aiming for one of the ones in the distance.
Isn't there one like right on top of us?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, you can attack that one. You will have to roll twice for disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage.
Yeah, since you're doing it at point blank.
For his disadvantage or mine?
Yours.
Maybe it'd be better to go for the one right here then.
Yeah, I mean, you could take the risk. To be honest, you could probably hit him.
Let's go with my first impulse.
Yep.
Okay, so I look up at the creature flying above us and I'm seeing the wings of people getting terrorized with this, and so I just look straight up and try to pull a shot and go just straight up into the air. So
that succeeds. Roll for damage. This thing is very small. It's actually a tiny creature. You pull back your bow, and the arrow is not much smaller than it, and you let go, and it basically obliterates the creature right before your eyes. The arrow also bounces off of Sije, who's standing in front of you.
my bad.
It doesn't damage him, however.
Can it ricochet into the other one?
You know what? That's not a bad idea. Let's try to roll for that. I will say if you can succeed on a high DC dexterity check.
So my dexterity is 18.
So you're going to do D20 plus 4, and I'll say the DC is 15 for this.
Okay, so question for things like this, like my mind always like jumps to kind of situations like this. However, I'm seeing it play out in my mind, but I don't really say anything because I figure like it's either another turn or it's kind of outlandish. Can I like bring things like get this up and roll for it?
Bring up ideas as you have them, and I'll try to work with you. But
okay, well, yeah, I'm not trying to put myself up here or anything, but just like how I'm watching this unfold in my mind. Sometimes I get an idea, and I wasn't sure if I should just go forth and say it or.
I'll try to make it work if it works within your character's limitations. But
course,
I mean,
yeah.
if you have bad rolls, it's not going to work. But if you have good rolls,
definitely, yeah. Okay, no, yeah, I was just kind of curious about just like kind of like the flow of the game and stuff because like I wouldn't nothing outlandish, but things that would make sense. But like that was like what that just popped in my head when that happened.
Yep, go for it. If it works, it works. You cannot abuse this every time, though, just for warning.
It bounces off him and does like a checkers thing and hits every single one of them.
So this is like a one-time thing just because I said it ricocheted and you're like, oh, could it ricochet into the other one?
Gotcha, okay.
It's not an abusable thing because it's probably something you actually need like a skill for or a feat, like some trick shot feat or something like that.
No, yeah, I wouldn't abuse it. I would just kind of play with the situation.
Because I like the flavor we're going with it. So roll for damage. Or actually, sorry, you already did damage. So we'll say the remaining damage from your roll will follow through to the creature behind. So basically, the creature before had 2 hit points left. Yeah. So we'll say your arrow went through. You did 10 damage. So now it will be reduced to 8. And the remaining 8 will go on to the creature behind. So you won't roll for damage again.
Gotcha.
The arrow is sticking out of that creature's chest, and you kind of wonder How the creature can continue flying with a arrow about the size of it sticking out of its chest. It is now the creature's turn, and it's going to pull the arrow out of its chest, throw it to the ground, and going to try to fly away at Mach speed, which it can, leaving the battlefield, basically. You didn't kill that one.
Piss it off.
It got away.
The one that got away.
Yeah. Sije, it's now your turn.
I would like to dash.
Where are you dashing to? Or you could also fly the same distance that you can dash, and your wings are still good to go.
Oh, okay. How far would that take me?
60 feet.
Wait, including with the dash?
Well, what I mean to say is if you just fly, it's like dashing, but you can also attack.
Oh, okay. Then I am just gonna go. I guess I'll go like right here.
So we put you right there. I'm guessing you want to attack this creature.
Yeah. I'll hit the creature.
Okay, go for it. So that's a hit. Roll for damage.
7.
Okay, so you swing back your flail, and man, this thing is very pathetic as you swing through it. You don't kill it, but you do take a serious chunk out of it as its skin almost breaks away while you do so. It is bleeding quite profusely where you smacked it.
I'm gonna call out to Jazz, and I'm just gonna say, "Bring those fuckers down," and just point to the ones that are trying to take Molly away.
Okay.
It is actually now Jazz and the other creature's turn. Jazz looks over at what's happening with Malia, and he makes another attack at this creature, and he actually does bring it down. You guys see as the creatures are flying higher and actually leaving the battlefield, you see Jazz touch a brooch on his, or a clasp that holds his cloak across his collarbones, basically. So just to give you guys context, so basically he touches the clasp holding his cloak to his armor, and his cloak unfurls into angelic wings, which is pretty cool, and he is flying off in chase, and he also leaves the battlefield. Meanwhile, over here, the creatures carrying unconscious Billy continue, and you see them fly up. He is not able to resist, so you see them fly up onto one of the brigantines and take him away.
Fucking good.
Oh no, he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, this creature
No songs were written.
continues to attack the unconscious commoner, starts attacking the unconscious commoner, and you see it bite at him ferociously. The commoner goes limp, and Pitgazer takes a step over, drawing his short bow and firing, actually impacts the creature in the back of the head, killing it. It is now the slug thing's turns. This one closest to Caitlin is gonna try to continue attacking you, Caitlin.
Aww.
Okay.
Now is Caitlin still Caitlin when she's in barbarian mode?
Yeah, she is. She's basically, though, best way to describe is that everything I'm seeing right now is red.
Gotcha.
This thing is kind of goofy.
Well, since there'd be like no friendly fire, just like.
Yeah, don't worry, there's not going to be friendly fire or anything like that.
This creature's kind of goofy. You see it reel back a fist, and you don't know how it does it, but even given its sluggish form, it kind of does a pirouette and punches itself in the jaw doing so.
Wow.
And he actually stumbles forward and is prone, but he's still alive. And that's its turn. This one is going to still attack you, Caitlin, or try and fail. But the other one fully engulfs this villager, and he swallows the villager, who is gone from the battlefield, and you sense that he probably didn't make it.
Ugh.
Not a good way to go.
No.
Why couldn't he have gone after Billy?
It is now Kate's turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna rip and tear this one right here.
So do your attack roll.
11 points of damage.
So you
13.
You succeed.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna start ripping it to pieces and since I'm not sure where the main body is, I'm just going to attack whatever piece is moving until pieces stop moving.
Hey, the creature is prone on the ground. You nip at him. Each part that kind of flails as he's prone, you nip at him every time one of his body parts flinch. But in a short amount of time, you do not enjoy biting him, but you start to get the sense that there's just nerves firing off at this point, and it is dead. Norren's turn now.
As Norren was getting ready to, he was just watching this unfold. He's watching this poor villager get eaten as he was going to head over there to try and save this person. Then he just watched him get completely engulfed and just horrified with all of the situation, all this mindless death. Starts running forward, once again grabbing his bow and just aiming at this creature right here to take a shot at it, to just try to get this battle over with and free as many of the villagers as possibly can.
Okay, roll for attack.
It was horrifying. I was getting ready to, that was my plan of attack, was going to save that villager, and I watched him get eaten in front of my eyes.
Yep.
It's not a good way to go. Sweet, so roll for damage. Okay, so your arrow flies through the air, you almost feel it shivering as it pierces through the creature's tough hide and goes all the way through. It actually doesn't seem to get much resistance. It goes right through to the other side and keeps going off of the battlefield. But the creature's still alive.
Oh gosh, can I heal too, or is that another move? I keep forgetting to do that.
I don't think you need to heal, to be honest. You could
Okay.
do it after battle if you want. I'll tell you, these guys, they're not going to hit based on their stats. So, Sid, it is now your turn.
I'm just gonna run up to this dude and just flail him.
Yeah, wail on him. Alrighty. You run forward, pulling back your flail, and you roll some dice. Roll for damage.
4 damage.
Okay, so you smack it across the cheek. Some of its jaw cracks, and you see some of its teeth fly out. A trail of blood following behind, but it's still alive. Meanwhile, Pit Gazer is going to run forward. Hey, yo, Rockman, what are you doing? He pulls back his short bow, and he is going to make a roll. And he pulls back his short bow and releases it rather quickly. The arrow flies through the creature, but it does not kill it. Nevertheless, the creature is now focused on you. He is going to continue attacking, or attempt to attack you. And he makes a slug-like movement towards you and kind of just brushes up against you. And you're like, what the hell? What is this thing trying to do? This other one, however, is going to continue trying to eat this villager that got regurgitated. So he is now enveloping the villager. And it is Kate's turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna move one space south, and I'm just gonna keep just trying to save this villager's life. So that is 10 points of damage.
Even your disadvantage would have actually success. If you got the lower roll, it actually would have succeeded.
7. Wow, these things are weak.
Yeah, they're super weak. So you nip at it, you bite it, and rip it to shreds as it tries to consume this villager. It is totally dead. Norren, it is your turn.
I run up towards everyone, and I try to flank this enemy, and then pull out my hand axe and try to just once again crush this into his skull and take advantage of the flank.
Roll 2 attack rolls. You pull back your hand axe and you take a heavy blow. You make a heavy strike, aiming for the back of its skull, and it gives little resistance, almost separating like a gooey structure as you slice through. But it's kind of grossing you out, so you pull back. But you keep making hatchet strikes at it as it's clearly dead, but you can't help but continue because it really grosses you out, and you just want to make sure it's dead. You're going for the double tap. It is no longer living. The creature is dead. Battle is over.
We did much better on that one.
Yep, that one was a lot easier. Intentionally so. But you guys breathe a sigh of relief. You take stock of what just happened. Malia got captured. You look up and you see the winged creatures that took her off. And it is now heading away with... it's heading to the north, actually. And you see Jazz following behind in hot pursuit with his wings. But that is where we are going to wrap up the session.
Ooh.
That was fun.
Yeah, lots of battle.
Should we do experience before we close and just get that done with?
I'll tally it up and add it to your totals.
I can't imagine we're leveling again. I imagine at this point it's going to start.
I think Havi might level, possibly.
Okay.
Like, this was an easier encounter, so maybe... Actually, I think you guys might level. But anyways, sorry, I think Havi might level, but you two will not.
That's fair.
So that is it. That concludes session 2 of Chronicles of the Cloudsea. You guys were thrown into an unexpected city battle, which isn't going too well. But you have saved a number of villagers. However, you have seen, just to remind you, Benson, Malia, and Billy get spirited away, but Jazz seems to be in pursuit. And actually, you guys can't help but feel he's more badass than you ever realized. You too, Sije, realize this. And some of the email companions you guys met are also pretty impressive, but that is where we will finish for now.
Curious if hopefully that I can call Benson and maybe rescue everyone at some point.
That might be on the agenda for next session, if you would like to do that. But we will table that for now. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
This one was a blast. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you again.
Thanks, Void. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com, whose music I used, including Vibing Over Venus, SCP-X1X Gateway to Hell, Local Forecast Elevator, and music from Tabletop Audio, including Arcane Clockworks, Mysterious Grotto, Halfling Sneak, Terraforming, Vikings, Rat Battle, Terror in the Woods, Whirlpool, all licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. And thanks to Ferret Foundry for the Armory Battle Map. You can find Ferret Foundry maps at patreon.com/ferretfoundry. Havi, Chris, and Kami are all content creators as well, and you can find their projects in the description of the podcast on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching and listening, folks, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!